Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this Monday. On this Monday, we're going to go over my top 5 flathead catfish baits. So stay tuned, and I'll go over them with you. Alright, everybody. Let's get down to my top 5 favorite flathead baits. My number 1 has to be bluegill. Bigger, the better. They can be live. They can be cut up. I prefer to fish for my flatheads with bluegill heads or live. You can fish with bluegill for the flatheads, fishing, at nighttime. If you can get in some shallow waters, you can fish in the shallow, you fish around rocky structures. My basic go-to rig is a Carolina rig. Even when I'm fishing on top, I'm using a Carolina rig underneath the floater, letting the bait swim around with the floater. Same thing on bottom, I'm using the Carolina rig on bottom. That's just how I prefer to fish for my flatheads until I learn some more techniques for catfishing. For when I get a bigger boat, maybe dragging some baits, maybe might do pretty good, dragging some bluegill or suspending some bluegill maybe. I'm not sure. I've never did that, so I can't say for sure if that works real well. But for my number 1 flathead will have to be for bluegill. Number 2 on my flathead catfish list will have to most definitely be some creek chubs. Creek chubs are everywhere. About every little stream or creek has them. You can catch them with a cast net. You can catch them on a hook and sinker. Normal bluegill bait works for them. I usually catch mine on red worms and white worms, fishing underneath a little floater, little bluegill floater. I usually use a real small eagle claw hook, and that's usually how I tend to catch mine. I do know others that catch them with cast nets, but you can't go wrong with going to a small creek and catching your own bait and then going fishing with it. Yeah, sure, it's easier with a cast net. If you don't have the time to do that, that's fine. Use a cast net. But, them little creek chubs, they're fun catching. They're just like bluegill. But, my number 2 flathead catfish bait will have to be creek chubs. I've not had very much luck catching them with cut in half. It seems like the flatheads prefer them to be alive. The more they wiggle, the more they fight, the better the flatheads like them. Alright, for my number 3 on the list here, will have to be good old mudcats. Depending on where you live at in the United States, some people call them yellow bellies, bullheads. People have different terms for them, just like the bluegill world. When I catch a small fish that looks like a bluegill, I'm going to call it a bluegill. It might be a green sunfish, or it might be a hybrid bluegill, or a pumpkin seed. I'm still going to call it a bluegill. That's what I do. But I cannot leave out mudcats. Mudcats are a great bait for flathead catfish. Also, mudcats are great for bait because they're tough. They're just as tough as the big cats. You can put a hook through their lips. You can put a hook through their back. That's what I do. What I prefer to do with them is like I do with all my other baits. I fish them Carolina rig on the bottom or fish on top underneath the float. Carolina rig, 8 to 10-aught circle hook on them. I like to clip off their barbs. I like to take a pair of scissors and clip off their barbs. So in that way, when a big fish runs with them, I got a better chance of that fish getting the whole fish in its mouth and not getting the barbs caught up on maybe depending on how he swallows the fish or takes it. Sometimes the barbs will get caught up on the fish's inner mouth here on the inside of the lip, and you won't be able to get that good hook set, or just because of the way he grabbed the fish, he may not be able to get that mudcat in properly all the way. Especially if it's a smaller flathead. I mean, y'all know flathead's got a big mouth. I mean, a 5-pound flathead will eat about almost a 1-pound mudcat easily. But sometimes the hit ain't as hard, and the barbs like to get caught up on the side of their mouth, and it prevents you from getting your hook set up. So, but yeah, I catch them. I got a little pond right down the road from me. I'm actually not allowed to fish in it no more. It's a cemetery pond, but just normal night crawler, wax worms, fishing with a floater. If they're there, you'll catch them on it. Catch them on liver. Catch them with a cast net as well. But yeah, mudcats will have to be in my top 5 flathead baits, most definitely. Number 4 on this list. Now this could go either way here. Now for me personally, I like using goatfish for my flatheads. Now there's another fish that I have tied with number 4, and that is black salties. If you're not familiar with a black salty, they're part of the goatfish family as well. They're pretty much a goatfish, but they're black. Okay. They're excellent bait. If your bait store carries them, buy some and try them out in your area. They have a little bit stronger smell than a typical bluegill, and they give a different aroma or they have a little bit different smell, odor to them. Is what I'm trying to say, and they're a little bit more. They get a little bit more oily in their body and in their meat. So the flatheads are able to detect them better too. Plus, not to mention that the goldfish, they're bright orange, and if you're fishing deep, dark waters, with for flatheads, they're going to see that little. If they can detect any light down there, that goldfish with that light is going to give off a little bit of light. Depending on which way he swims, and he's turning. I love goldfish for flatheads. Flatheads demolish them. Now, I've not caught my biggest flathead on a goldfish. I've caught my personal best flathead on a creek chub. Fishing about 3 foot of water, fishing off a floater. Goldfish, I fish with them the same way. I fish them with a anywhere from a 6 to a 10-aught hook. I hook them through the back. I use a Carolina rig on the bottom or a Carolina rig under a float. Same way I do all my flathead baits, like I stated previously. But yeah, goldfish, they're not real expensive depending on where you live at. I can get a pound of goldfish, good size, pretty good size goldfish for almost 7 to 8 inches long for about $20 a pound. Not too bad. And they're an excellent bait for catfishing as well. They're just as tough as the catfish, as the mudcats. You put a hook in their back, they'll survive in cooler water. They'll live really good in warm water. Y'all know they're just a carpet, pretty much is all they are. So they'll survive in any water, low on oxygen, whatever, and you don't have to worry about them dying on you as quick neither for bait. But yeah, if y'all can get goldfish, try them out in your area. In my area, they work great. I haven't been out fishing much for flatheads yet this year. I'm going to start targeting them now after this video, so that I can try to show y'all that flathead do like goldfish. But yeah, number 4 has to go to my goldfish or black salties. If you don't know what black salty is, Google it. It'll tell you all about it. Number 5, without a doubt, has to be shad. No, not Chad, shad. Shad live, it's fantastic for flathead if you can get them to stay alive on the hook. Cut up is great as well. Everybody knows that all catfish love shad. I've not had my hands on live shad ever before, but I know fishing with it whole or fishing with it cut up is excellent fishing bait for flatheads. I fish it same way as I do all the others. Carolina rig on bottom or Carolina rig underneath the float. That's how I use my shad. The downfall to using frozen shad from bait shops, I have to get mine from bait shops. I don't have a cast net. I'm getting one. I'm just waiting for them to come back in stock. If they're not real fresh, you won't catch nothing on them. I'm not going to lie. Also, after they're frozen, the meat tends to get a little tenderer than they are when you catch them fresh and alive. So if you're able to catch shad, keep them bad boys on ice. There is plenty of videos on YouTube how to keep shad fresh and how to keep them alive. It takes a really, really great bait system to keep them alive because they're a very finicky fish. Any kind of stress will kill them. They're I don't know what it is about it. Any kind of stress, moving them a lot, it kills them. They're just dead. Alright folks, that's my top 5 flathead catfish baits. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm trying to share with y'all my favorite baits to use. I'm sure I left off some baits that other people like to use for flatheads, but those are my top 5. Those are what work best for me in my area, in my lakes and rivers. I'm hoping to get out and get some more fishing going. I got a storm rolling in. Wind's really picking up. It's throwing the tarp off my boat. But if y'all have any suggestions for catching flatheads, drop your comments down below. Let me know what your top 5 flathead baits are. This has been great. I've had a lot of great feedback from doing this with my channel cats. I've had a lot of people come in and give me their top 5 and what they think work in their area and what doesn't. And this is just all learning. We're just learning from each other is what I'm doing this for. So I'll catch y'all later. Yeah. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and y'all have a good one. Bye, y'all.